Alright, all y'all tired gamers, dads especially. This is Dad Space, Pragmata. If you've been itching for an emotionally gripping story that hits a little harder than you expect, or you just want to jump in, blast bots in the face with an array of weapons, using hacking and gunplay, then let's see if this is actually a great fit for your limited gaming time. Because when you don't have a lot of time to play, it's not just is it fun anymore, it's how much does it demand from you? How does it feel to play through? And most importantly, what is it like when you have to step away when life happens?
You okay?
Alright, so let's start with what you're actually getting into here. Pragmata is a single-player, third-person sci-fi action shooter with a heavier, more emotional story that carries through both the gameplay and cutscenes. Some people are calling it a dad sim or even a babysitting game, but that's really reductive once you see how the core gameplay actually works. You play as Hugh, initially sent as part of a team to investigate a communications blackout on a lunar colony, only to find out it's been overtaken by hostile AI and robots. He's saved by a mysterious girl, and quickly discovers she's an advanced android. He eventually gives her the name
Diana?
From there, the game becomes a partnership of total mechanical symbiosis. Neither survives alone. Hugh is a physical force, but he can't deal with advanced lunar tech on his own. Diana, on the other hand, can hack enemies and systems, but she's physically vulnerable. Together, they push through the AI and everything it throws at them. You'll face a variety of robots as you progress, with designs ranging from simple to genuinely unsettling. As you move forward, you uncover what happened to the colony, more about Diana, and how everything connects. You progress through semi-linear stages that stay distinct, often introducing new systems that can change how you approach combat, like gravity. You'll spend a lot of time in your hub, the shelter, where you'll use resources gathered in the field to strengthen Hugh, Diana, and your expanding arsenal. It also acts as a wind-down space, with small, wholesome moments between the two. If you're a parent, especially a girl dad, those hit harder and really sell their dynamic.
Crayons can run?
Combat is honestly unique and refreshing. The skill ceiling is high, and it becomes a dance of hacking and gunplay, balancing precision shots on weak points with fast, efficient hacking. Once you start playing, it can feel a bit weird early on, especially the hacking, and takes a little adjustment. You'll get the basics quickly, but executing it smoothly takes time. Once everything starts layering together, that's when it really clicks. And when it does, it feels incredible. The combat is visceral and visually impactful, often making you feel like a badass duo. And these finishers feel incredibly satisfying. So, now that we know what the core gameplay is, what is it like when you have to step away when life happens? Let's start with the good news. You can pause at any point, and there are frequent escape hatches throughout every stage that act as checkpoints. These let you return to and from the shelter, but just know enemies do respawn if you use them. You can manually save at any point in the shelter, but there is one major friction point. Manually saving is completely disabled outside of the shelter. If life happens between checkpoints, you will be reverted to your last one. Early on, you might lose around 5 minutes. Later, that can easily turn into 10 to 15 minutes. This really stung when I spent time hunting collectibles, then beat a major enemy early, and my game crashed a few minutes later. And I had to redo all of it. It was pretty irritating, especially since games as old as Dark Souls managed to handle this kind of thing better. So, this is something you definitely need to be aware of if you're stepping away a lot. On the plus side, once you activate checkpoints, it's very easy to resume a stage from the shelter. Even if it's been a few days, the main quest tracker and map design make it easy to pick right back up. And this matters even more once you see what you're actually committing to and whether that time feels respected. So you can jump in for 15 minutes here and make progress, which is great if you've got limited time. But the full completion time, that's where this might feel a little rough for some people. For context, I played on the hardest available difficulty for a first run and completed everything needed for the postgame and the secret ending. In total, it took me about 20 hours to complete it all, with roughly 4 hours in Unknown Signal, the game's post-game content. It's honestly right on the edge of feeling a little short for me. A small part of that time comes from the way progression is structured. You will have to backtrack a bit as you unlock abilities that open up areas you couldn't access before. It's not a huge portion of the experience, but it's noticeable, and it's handled really well. Everything you find from backtracking ties directly into progress, whether that's powering up or working towards the secret ending. The map, checkpoint design, and a few abilities make clearing these up much easier than most games. But there are 2 reasons those 20 hours still feel worth it. First, the game handles what's usually just filler really well. The collectibles and training missions tie directly into progression, and as you invest into mastering combat and building your loadout, that payoff really starts to show. Second, and this is the real one, the story. It does a really good job building that connection between Hugh and Diana over time, and capturing the genuine nuances in those quieter, more heartfelt moments. This scene especially reminded me of my own kids.
I'm counting on you, kiddo.
Roger that.
I won't lie, I cried here. It brought back real memories, like the first high five with my son, and made me look forward to that moment with my daughter too.
Come on, Mr. Balloon.
It's something small, but that's exactly why it hits. To a child, moments like that aren't small at all. They're huge. It's not just engaging, it's genuinely relatable, especially as a parent. And I'll say this, getting teary-eyed throughout the game, you might need a moment to collect yourself. Cause once you're back in it, that's when you really start to feel how much focus this game can demand. So, as an action shooter, this does require a light to moderate level of focus. Combat and hacking start off manageable, but can ramp up quickly, especially when you're jammed in tight spaces with more advanced enemies. As enemies evolve, hacking becomes more demanding. Grids get larger and more complex, and the environment adds pressure with hazards and traps you have to account for during that hack and gunplay flow. Beyond that, you'll also be watching for subtle audio and visual cues tied to collectibles, so if you're half asleep, you might miss something like this. I know I have. So overall, this leans more towards a focused experience, and that only ramps up with difficulty. At the start, you'll choose between casual or standard difficulty. This review is based on standard. Lunatic unlocks after your first playthrough. Just like with Focus, things start off fairly easy and hold for a bit before ramping up. As you progress, difficulty increases in a way that feels fair and gradual, driven by stronger enemies, more complex hacking grids, and added environmental pressure. By endgame, the entire hack and gunplay flow ramps up with tougher enemies, denser encounters, and even mechanics you have to deal with before you can start shooting. Mastering the systems, your weapons, and leveling up makes a big difference, especially once you get faster and more precise with hacking. If you want a more relaxed experience, there are accessibility options like auto hack or a weapon that reduces grid size. That said, the hardest content for me was the later training missions, especially this one. I cleared it, but I never want to touch it again. It was that frustrating. Quick note, because there's a lot of confusion here. After you beat the game, you unlock Lunatic, New Game Plus, and Unknown Signal. But for the secret ending, you only need to continue your cleared save into Unknown Signal and complete it. And just know, this is a noticeable step up from the base game. It builds on your current difficulty rather than jumping to something like Lunatic, and really feels like a test of how well you've mastered the game's systems. Not just combat or hacking, but how everything comes together. That said, it's not overly punishing. It feels like the game is pushing you to succeed and not gate you out. So with how this game plays, how intense it can get, is this actually living room friendly? If you're okay with kids seeing robot violence and destruction, This is fine in a shared space. Both my kids and my wife were hooked on the action. The game really pulls attention visually, backed by a strong soundtrack. No, this isn't actually in the game. I checked. I'll link it below if you really want it. In my case, I ended up only playing when my wife could watch it, like it was a movie. Unless someone in your household is firmly on the negative side of the Pragmata controversy, you're good. So, once you finally get a chance to sit down and play, how long is it really going to keep you coming back? Here's where I'm not going to sugarcoat it. Even though I enjoyed every hour, and it left me wanting a Pragmata 2, the overall experience felt a tad on the short side. Unknown Seino continues the story for a few hours and leads into what most consider the secret ending. Getting there is engaging and fun, and the content along the way feels fresh enough. But when you finally finish it all, if you're hoping for something more, expanded outcomes, a different direction, you're getting a few seconds of added clarity at the very end. That's it. So then, what's actually left? You can replay it. New Game Plus lets you go again already powered up, and Lunatic starts you fresh with earlier access to your unlocked weapons, which is nice, I guess. On the plus side, if you do finish it on Lunatic, you do get an achievement, which is something to chase for all you completionists out there. But that's really it. There aren't alternate routes or multiple endings to chase. What you see here is the experience, just replayed at different difficulty levels, which is honestly disappointing, because this game deserves so much more than that.
Hell yeah!
Hell yeah!
So, is Pragmata worth a Tired Dad's limited gaming time? Cost aside, here's the reality. There's a real chance you'll lose up to 10 to 15 minutes of progress if life happens between checkpoints. But once you understand how it works, it's manageable. But when you're actually playing, this game respects your time really well. You can make meaningful progress in short sessions, the gameplay keeps rewarding what you put into it, and the combat feels really good and satisfying, especially if you got a subwoofer. The story pulls you in emotionally too, and even the smaller moments really stick with you. The combination of the two makes every hour feel worth it. The game itself is great, amazing even. It's just the release price for a 20-hour completion time, including post-game content, is a bit rough for me. And that's even more so if you got the deluxe edition. That secret ending? I put in the effort, I got there. And when it hit, I generally thought I did something wrong. When I finally saw the difference, I was so happy to see it. But at the same time, it felt like I got a big, fat middle finger after all that effort, for just a few seconds clearing up a small ambiguity. My wife felt exactly the same. You're not getting meaningful alternate endings here. And once you've seen that, that's pretty much it. Replay value comes down to whether you want the challenge, want to experience it again stronger or weaker, or just enjoy the gameplay enough to run it back. So, if that sounds appealing to you, getting emotionally invested into Dad Space, Pragmata, enough to cry your eyes out while experiencing one of the most wholesome and emotional narratives I've seen in a while, along some genuinely satisfying combat between the Hugh and Diana team up, then this could be a great fit for your short to flexible gaming windows. Or if you just want to drop in and blast your way through bots, like you're what Skynet thought John Connor was, that works too. If you found this review helpful and want to see more, consider liking, commenting, and subscribing. I'm split, and I'm splitting. See y'all next time.